Hello, welcome back to Off Grid Style. I'm Nikki, and I'm so glad to have you here. We are discussing the jobs most likely to be taken over by robots. And is yours at risk? This is from the Daily Mail. This is the first of two articles. The second one is actually even more interesting. The idea of a robot taking your job might sound like science fiction, but a new study suggests it could soon become a reality for millions, actually hundreds of millions of people. This particular study was done by the Department of Education in England, but it was done on a worldwide basis. And it has revealed the jobs most likely to be taken by robots. It's pretty bad news for white-collar professionals, accountants, consultants, psychologists, among the professions at risk. However, sports players, roofers, and people that put up steel buildings can all pretty much rest easy because the study suggests that these professions are safest from the advance of AI technology. In the study, the researchers analyzed 365 categories of jobs, including the different abilities required to do each one of them. Each of these abilities was then compared against a selection of the 10 most common AI applications in the world that are in play right now to see whether they could be aided by AI or potentially completely replaced by AI. This allowed the researchers to give a score, if you will, to each of the categories of job descriptions based upon how much AI could help or even replace that particular job. So, which jobs are most at risk? Well, these researchers found that jobs requiring a high level of formal education were much more likely to be replaced by AI in the future. The profession ranked most at risk was management consultants and business analysts. This was closely followed by financial managers, directors, accountants, and psychologists. The legal professions also made it into the top 10 most at-risk professions, interestingly enough. AI has already begun to automate some aspects of the legal profession. Last month, the very first contract negotiated by AI was signed, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. The researchers also made a separate assessment, for large language modules or models like ChatGPT, and there's another one by Google, I think it is called Bard. Anyway, when ranked by exposure to these large language models, it was telephone salespeople who were considered the most likely to be replaced by a robot or chatbot. Psychologists were once again in this category, also found to be highly likely to be replaced by AI. And interestingly enough, the clergy, priests, ministers, all of those people also were highly ranked in this category of being eventually replaced by a chatbot. So which jobs are least at risk of being replaced right now? This particular study found that those that involved technically difficult manual labor were far less likely to be replaced by AI. The report said that the occupations least exposed to AI include many of the same areas, more manual work that is technically difficult in unpredictable environments and with lower wages. The report's authors add that lower wages in these jobs, with the exception of professional sports players, reduced the incentive to look for automated alternative. In other words, it's not worth it to create an AI generated thing that can do that job. Nah, we can just go ahead and pay them because we're not paying them that much. Sports players, roofers, and elementary construction occupations, I guess they mean basic occupations of construction, were all ranked as being at the lowest risk of replacement. The report also found that jobs requiring the lowest levels of formal education were less exposed to AI. Finance and insurance industry is most exposed to AI, followed by IT and communication, and then professional, scientific, and technical roles. At the opposite end, the hospitality and food service industries have the least exposure to AI and the least risk of AI replacement. Real quick, before I get to the second article, which is super important and even more interesting than this one, I need to remember that you need to hit the notification bell, because on our community page, we do all kinds of stuff every day. We do quizzes. I do infographics on survival. I post funny stuff. I post news sometimes. So please hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when those things pop up. And this one is from another favorite of mine, Forbes. A recent report from Goldman Sachs estimates around 300 million jobs around the world could be affected by generative AI, meaning 18% of work globally could be automated, with more advanced economies heavily impacted than emerging markets. So the more Western industrialized nations are going to be much more affected by this than those that are just emerging as world players, if you will. The report also predicts 2/3 of jobs in the US and Europe are exposed to some degree of AI automation, and around 1/4 of all jobs could be performed by AI entirely. Researchers from the University of Pennsylvania found some educated white-collar workers earning up to $80,000 a year are the most likely to be affected by workforce automation. According to the report, jobs in agriculture, mining, and manufacturing are the least exposed to AI, while jobs in information processing industries like IT are the most exposed, because jobs that use programming and writing skills are right down ChatGPT's capabilities. That's exactly what ChatGPT was designed for. AI isn't perfect. Both OpenAI and Google admit that their program sometimes gives incorrect responses and has other flaws, like ChatGPT's knowledge base cap at 2021, September 2021, something like that, and Bard's limited conversation retention. So let's talk about the jobs most impacted according to Goldman Sachs study. 56 of banks claim they've implemented the technology already into their business domain. 52% claim they've used it for revenue generation. Morgan Stanley has begun using it. The World Economic Forum also predicts AI will bring 3 changes to the finance division: job cuts, job creation, and increased efficiency. In addition, they estimate by 2027, 23% of jobs in China's financial sector will be replaced by AI. That's not a big shock. I'll tell you in a minute what's happened. Media and marketing. In 15 years, 90% of news will be written by machines. Publishers already have plans to transition into digital only, which includes job cuts in favor of modern technology and automation. Reporters for different media outlets like Business Insider, CNET, and CNBC have used ChatGPT to write news stories, though they have been criticized for containing false information. Legal services. An attorney, just recently, this is the one I talked about in the previous article, used ChatGPT to publish a 14-page legal paper that ended up being a contract that was legally signed and was completely 100% legal. The AI bot has the potential to address access to justice questions and make legal services available to those who can't afford it. Some guy at Suffolk University Law School said. Low-income Americans don't get enough or any legal help for 92% of their civil legal problems, according to a 2002 report by Legal Services Corporation. And according to Goldman Sachs, the jobs least impacted will be the manufacturing and factory workers. This industry has been undergoing automation for a while. General Motors had auto thing back in 1961 called Unimate, but generative AI may speed up the process even more. And while they say that manufacturing and factory workers are the least impacted, a Chinese factory recently replaced 90% of its workforce with machines, resulting in a 250% increase in productivity and about an 80% decrease in defects. A job that took 650 human workers to complete now takes about 60 robots and 60 humans, the company claims. Agriculture. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, in 2021, there were 21.1 million full and part-time jobs in the food and agriculture sectors, making up about 10.5% of the labor force. Agriculture is considered one of the world's oldest professions and has stood the test of time, lasting through 4 separate industrial revolutions, and this is obviously going to be the 5th. Healthcare. Obviously, most adults want to actually speak about their health to a human and have the compassion, the empathy, all of those feelings that obviously are lacking in a bot of any sort. But medical transcriptionists, medical records, medical secretaries, health information technicians, all those jobs can all go to AI. So the wrap on all this, more and more high-paying jobs will either be augmented or completely taken over by AI in the next few years. Low-paying and physical labor jobs will be safe because it isn't worth it to build out AI to handle these jobs. So we're going to be crunching down and reducing the middle class even more than they already have been. Those with specialized advanced positions, like for instance medical doctors, and those with the least paying jobs will be safe for now until Skynet takes over. So if you see Arnold wandering around in some leather, run the other way real quick. What y'all think? Tell me what your thoughts are. Does this scare you like it does me when I started reading about this and went down this hole? Let me know. What do you think about it for your kids, for the economy, for the future? I'm always glad to hear from you. I will always answer back. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you again soon. Thank you.